All right, there we go. There we go. Welcome one, welcome all to the Wrestling Council, the mightiest show on the interwebs, is at least talking about this wrestling shit. I am 1/4 of the Wrestling Council, the host of the Akari Press Network. My name is Antonio Bryce. I'm a comic book writer. You can check out my comic book brand, Way of the Gun. The link is in the description. But let's go around this round table and introduce the rest of our play. Oh, wait a minute, I forgot. We are brought to you each and every week. I got to put this up by our good friends at the Outright Geekery Podcast Network. You can check those out at outrightgeekery.com. All right, now let me get everybody and work around the room there. To the right, Joker's to the left of me, Joker's to the right. Here I am, Mr. Yule Carter. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I've been actually moving locations for my comic book store. So I'm almost all moved in, and we're getting all the hookups together. So we should actually be in business soon.
You're actually going to be able to open to customers?
That's right.
Awesome.
I know. That. What a world I live in now.
That is sweet, man. That's crazy that you have a business and you can't open it. That is, but I'm very happy. I'm a big fan of yours, Mr. Carter. But down below there, the man from down under. Either way, Comic Book Bob. How are you? Vegemite.
I'm good, man. Well, I mean, it's a little bit of a sad week, but some interesting stuff going on.
Okay, that's all you got.
That's all I got right now, man. Go away.
I was expecting. I was expecting you to go a little long. Okay, but well, on the left, at least on my screen of Comic Book Bob, is my man from the S&B Network, Boogie Bentley. How are you, Boogie Bentley?
Man, I'm good. My comic shop in my town reopened this week, and so I went down there today, picked up some new comics, and they asked everybody to wear a mask, so I wore a mask, and then like a true rebel, I ripped it off, went to the gym, threw around some heavyweights in the most germ-infested place you could possibly go, but I'm over it. I'm done. I am done with this lockdown. I am done with this virus. I'm living the dream. Open America. Let's rock and roll. Don't at me, bro.
Okay.
Yep. Starting with hot fire.
Well, all right. Well, there's been it's always weird what goes from week to week because, I had a small implosion last week. It was a sad moment on a very special Wrestling Council. You can go back and listen to that. It's still available. But hey, I'm here. Sometimes
these are the days of our lives.
We're family. We work things out.
And it's like I love Boogie, and I know Boogie loves me, and that's why we're here, and we're what it was like. What is dead may never die. But we are here. But a lot of stuff happened. Obviously, we had talked about Becky Lynch announcing the pregnancy, and then Jim Cornette said some stuff about it on his podcast. And then there was some responses. I've seen Seth Rollins has now responded to Jim Cornette talking about his fiance, soon-to-be wife.
That was coming.
Yeah, he didn't appreciate it. And obviously a bunch of women and a bunch of male feminists did not appreciate Mr. Cornette, and he's laughing at it. He thinks it is hilarious. All the hate he has been getting from the comments, but that's one thing I've seen. And then obviously, what was it on the 17th, just a few days ago? Unfortunately, we lost one half of Crime Time, Mr. Shad Gaspard. I know, Boogie, obviously you're a father. I was really proud, even though he is gone, to hear how he died, making sure his son, they tried to save him, and then he said, no, make sure my son is good. Make sure you get my son. Yeah. And, that's a champ right there. He did what a real parent would do, and made sure that his kid was taken care of. Instead of them saving him, even though, he made sure they got him. So I'm really, I'm sad that he's gone. I'm glad they were able to, because they were wondering if they were going to be able to recover his body. I'm glad that they were at least able to, recover the body. Obviously, condolences are pouring out. I've seen all kind of wrestlers and just people in entertainment. I did not realize. I was looking. I knew Shad Gaspard had done a lot of. After he had got released from WWE, he started doing like stunt work. He started doing like, he'd always be like a big, he'd be like a gang member. He did a lot of little movies, little B movies, TV shows, stuff like that. That's how he was working. One thing I didn't know is he was the motion capture guy on God of War on PlayStation 4. He was Kratos.
Yeah, he was Kratos.
So when you're playing that game and you're throwing the axes and all that, that was Shad Gaspard. That was all, he had all those little electrodes and stuff wired on him, and he was the one doing all those fighting. He wasn't the voice, but that was, when you're watching that game's a classic. That's a beautiful game. God, I mean, I think they sold like 15 million copies. That game's huge. And
it's got war, man.
Yeah, that's actually really cool that's Shad Gaspard as Kratos doing the motion capture and stuff on God of War, because I love that game. When that game came out about 3 years ago, that was a beautiful game. I remember when I saw it, I was like, I watched IGN and stuff like that, and they were doing like playthroughs of the game, and my nephews they were loving God of War, and I did not know that Shad Gaspard was the person that did the most. So I was like, my goodness. I mean, that's such an incredible game, and that's him, walking around and all that. So I was like, that's a little piece of him will live on, not to mention the matches on WWE Network and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, guys, any Crime Time memories that you want to share? Because I always enjoyed Crime Time. I wish they had gotten a little bit bigger push when they were in WWE. But
it's Vince, man.
Yeah,
that's the answer to almost every messed up thing that happens in WWE. It's Vince, man.
I wasn't really watching at that time. I mean, wasn't that like that was probably what, like 06, 07?
Yeah.
When they were there, that like
their main run, and then they came back for like another year and a half.
There was a few years there that I just didn't watch. I didn't watch the main product at all. I didn't watch WWE at all. But a lot of people coming out and saying he's a legend in wrestling and all this stuff. I hate when people do that. And it's like you said, Antonio. I think we should be talking about the way he went out. Dude, what a real hero! And it gives me chills hearing you just talk about it, man. He went out like a true hero. I'm like you. I'm glad they found his body. But as far as a wrestler, that's the last thing I'm gonna remember this guy for.
And a part of it is because I don't think they were really given a chance.
Maybe.
I do remember them a little bit. Like I'm with you, Antonio. I remember them from way back. But I'll be honest with you, I cannot remember like any memorable feuds that they had or anything like that.
Because they didn't.
Because they weren't handled very well. I mean, I've seen tapes and I went back and watched a little bit of old matches of theirs and stuff, and they weren't bad. They just.
Let me say this too, real quick while I'm thinking about it.
Go ahead.
They're a sponsor. Bob's already put it up there. CollaranElbowBrand.com. You can use the promo code ComicCast and save 10%. But don't use the promo code.
Well.
Go to CollaranElbowBrand.com. They're doing a shirt in memory of him. He always wore a Mike Tyson shirt, and they're doing a shirt for him it's got New York on it and Beast. It looks like the Roots of Fight type T-shirts. And
yeah. I saw that.
All the proceeds.
There's a picture of him and his son. Yeah, there's a picture of him and his son, and he's wearing the shirt and everything. And I was just, I'm so happy his son was able to get through that, because he'll know, as he gets older, he's like, my dad loved me and he made sure that I'm still here, man.
That's a hell of a burden for a 10.
Yeah, that's like I said, I'm I was very sad to hear that, but I Crime Time, I always thought they were, especially him and JTG together. I thought, they had the look and, the wrestling ability of one of the, like, I think they would have been huge in the 80s. They would have been, it's like when he had like Bad News Brown and stuff back in those days. I could have saw like all three of them would have been, he would have wrapped them up like
them in like ECW would have been big, along with like with that, with like What was that?
With Homicide and
and New Jack and all those guys. Dude,
New
that
Jack,
would have been big. That was the time to put those guys like that kind of a gimmick out there.
Oh yeah, man. That's that. Like I said, man. Especially in, like I said, I know Shad Gaspard. I think he was in. I know he had auditioned. He was trying to be one of the thugs or whatever, the minions in the Scorpion King with The Rock and stuff like that. I remember I was following him then. I was following his career because I started noticing he started talking about doing like stunt work. He had done some bodyguarding for a couple of for like when big celebrities would come out to like Hollywood or whatever, he would I think he worked for Diddy a couple times at events. So, he working like different events. So, I mean, he's you see him when he's standing next to JTG.
He's a big dude.
Yeah, he's a big dude. And another thing, there was a great clip, and I tweeted it out yesterday, of someone was filming him watching, what was that, WrestleMania 33?
Kofi's run. Yeah, it was him and
when Kofi won the championship, and him and MVP were watching it, and they got tears in their eyes, man, because it's just, oh my God, that would have been, he was genuinely happy for someone, that's the thing, we always talk about, don't be a hater, man, and that was, he was genuinely happy for Kofi, and I was like, that was, it kind of choked me up to watch that because they were hugging each other. They didn't win nothing because like MVP is another one of those guys that I thought he could have been bigger, especially during what they said was the SmackDown Golden Era when Paul Heyman was booking SmackDown, and they were putting him, he was doing his thing. Him versus Matt Hardy got over, but he never got pushed beyond that point where it was the U.S. Championship and that was it. And he never got to go any further than that. He never got a chance to be a champion. One thing I didn't know is that Crime Time never became the tag team champs. I thought they had gotten at least one. They never got it. They never
got a shot. And I hate to say it, and I sound like a broken record, but that's Vince, man.
No, that's how deep that roster was back then.
Yeah, okay.
The reason that I quit watching that roster at that time.
I mean, it's we I don't want to be that guy that harps on that, but that is a reality of the WWE, is that Vince has a particular type of person he likes to push, and anybody that gets over that doesn't fit that narrow perspective is by accident.
Well, I saw some people that I follow and on some wrestling forums and stuff, and they were talking about they always come back to this. Vince doesn't believe in black champions. He doesn't. It's so that's why when Kofi actually wins, you go, oh my God.
But that's why people were surprised that The Rock got over, because I mean, The Rock's about as white as a black guy could get.
Yeah.
But, I mean, but
it doesn't even claim to be black. He said he's Samoan.
The fact that he had to distance himself like that, that shows you just where the business mentality was at the time. Particularly with Vince. I mean, that's just the way he is.
I mean, brought Ron Simmons over. He thought that was a big coup to get him from WCW. Brought Ron Simmons over, and they do the Nation of Domination thing, and and I was like, never.
Am I supposed to like this?
Yeah. We are the nation of domination.
Crime Time was very reminiscent of Grand Theft Auto at the time also.
Yeah. I think that's where that came from.
That's what I'm saying.
And they got a lot of heat, and Vince loved it. Vince got a lot of negative publicity because of Crime Time. They were so controversial, in fact, that when they would bring Crime Time out after the commercial break, right before the commercial break, they would have to make an announcement to the audience like, hey, this is a parody. They're portraying these characters in a satirical way. And then they would come back, Jim Ross, all right, we're back. And it was like,
the wrestling business has changed, that you tell the crowd, hey, this is an act. Let's just, everybody stay calm. Whereas you guys talking about the gangsters in ECW and before that, Smoky Mountain. Dude, you guys saw the New Jack Dark Side of the Ring. That's like, let's start riots.
Dude, Crime Time wasn't freaking controversial at all compared to those guys.
Yeah, New Jack was doing that was not even close.
Dude, man, and
like they were,
like I said, man, I went back and watched some of those NWA tapings and stuff, man. some of the stuff that those crowds were yelling out there, they don't cut that stuff out. Those things, I was like, that would cause a freaking like a legit riot today.
What are you talking about, Smoky Mountain?
I'm talking about Smoky Mountain. I'm also talking about like old NWA tapings where you hear the crowd yelling stuff.
When your top baby face is Tracy Smothers coming out with a Confederate flag, it's like you know where you're at.
Well, Jim Cornette actually had a guy. He actually had a guy with a swastika.
Yeah.
He had a what was it? I can't remember.
That guy was on the first. I think he was on the first 3 Great American Bashes. He was the German guy with the claw, but he wouldn't do the
he was doing
he would do it, but he would like have his hand in a claw at the end of it. So it's like no, he's not really a Nazi.
I was just like, they really and especially like when I remember, like I said, I got really choked up when Ron Simmons actually went over and he won the championship from Hands of Stone, Ron Garvin. And that was something I always noticed, because you would look and you'd see black people in other sports and they were being very successful, and then all of a sudden this very athletic sport, and they'd have all these huge black dudes that look like they should be able to whoop everybody's ass, and they never were the champ. And that was, I was a mark I didn't realize, but I was like, black people can't win in wrestling.
Doom was Ron Simmons and Butch Reed. Doom, they were the first black NWA champions, man. That was what, in like 82?
Yeah, it really makes you think. But like I said, there's people still saying that Vince feels a certain type of way about people of color holding those belts. Maybe he's old school. I know Vince Sr., the way he ran the New York territory, his territory was all the way, what was it? It was New York, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C. I mean, it was huge. It was the largest of the main wrestling territories. The second largest was down in the Carolinas with the Jim Crockett Sr., which obviously passed on to Jim Crockett Jr. and his brother David and the rest of the family. But and Jim Crockett Jr. did a great job in the Carolinas, expanding, especially when they got Ric Flair in there and they did all that. But I was, a lot of those people said that Vince Sr. saw he was very old school about who was going to be the champion. I know the Cowboy, Bill Watts, wrestled for him, and they, what was it, Bobo Brazil and some of these guys, they booked wrestling in a very old-fashioned way, and they just didn't allow those opportunities. So when I go back and I look at like Crime Time, the biggest thing they got to do, I think they were on SmackDown and they had an angle they were working, or was it on Raw? They did something with John Cena, and then they just faded into obscurity. They were actually getting to work with John Cena. And then, so
John Cena is not the push. He doesn't give you the rub like some people do.
I don't know. I mean, they were getting TV time that they wouldn't have gotten without.
Well, I'm just saying, look at where they ended up.
Yeah, but they were
Cena,
basically a prop. They were basically a prop for Cena, is what it was.
Well, I feel like so there's your superstars that you build your entire company around, and then as far as WWE is concerned, and then there's your attractions. And often people of color, it doesn't matter what, always seem to be the attraction.
R-Truth, he'll never get a real push.
Well, I mean, if he was ever going to get one, it would have been a while ago.
I remember K-Quick.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I like him better as R-Truth than K-Quick, but when he was younger, but he
was better when he was K-Quick.
Yeah, well, he was by his own admission, he was still very green when they brought him up from he was down in Deep South Wrestling, down in Memphis. Matter of fact, go on WWE Network and watch his R-Truth special. It's incredible, because they got all that old footage of when he was down there in like Memphis and Deep South Wrestling.
Dude, I saw him in NWA Wildside wrestling with guys that I wrestled with in Georgia. And they would drive, guys from Tennessee would drive down. Yeah, AJ Styles, all those guys were down there.
Yeah. And actually what Hollywood just said, the way that they're using the Street Profits, it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Lord have mercy.
I'd rather
Don't
see
get me
Crime
started
Time.
on them.
I would rather.
Yeah,
see
me too. I would rather watch paint dry.
Oh man.
But he's right. That is the way they're using them.
But like I said, I thought Shad Gaspard, I liked great look. I thought the way Crime Time, I thought JTG could, do all those like high flying moves and all the stuff, the technical stuff. It's sad that Shad's, because they were still doing stuff on independent, in little shows and making appearances. It's sad that he's not here with us anymore. Yeah. But I am so happy that he was able to make sure his son was, saved. And
he did what a dad's supposed to do.
Yeah, he did what a dad was supposed to. Private Party is still around.
They're the number 3 ranked tag team, and they're going up against the Best Friends, I do believe.
Yeah. Let's be honest, man. When you get past the first 2, it kind of goes downhill a little bit.
All right. So before, as a matter of fact, let me send Shad off with a good money, yeah, money, yeah. I was like, but rest in peace to Shad Gaspard. But let's actually get into it. Let's talk about. Let's run down the shows. Boogie, do you want to do your Impact report now, or do you want to
do it?
I'll do it whatever you want me to do.
We're timing you right now.
Yeah,
I got to find my notes because I had it in order. I was afraid.
No, you're already 10 seconds in. Go.
Impact Wrestling #1 Contenders Tournament rolls on. Last week, Elgin took out Ken Shamrock. So this kid, Ace Austin, steps in, takes on Rhino. I expect, I need a logo. Impact report. I expect nothing. Ace Austin versus Rhino. I expect absolutely nothing. This match was better than anything on Raw. Ace Austin goes over. He'll take on Hernandez in the semifinals. Moose still claiming to be the real champion with his TNA title. I just keep waiting that Moose is going to have the TNA title and he's going to take on Tessa Blanchard. Ex-NFL player is going to take on a 130-pound woman to unify the titles somehow, some way. Crazy Steve pinned Dave Christ. Madman Fulton decides to leave OVE. TJ Perkins and Fallah Ball beat Triple XL. Moose pinned Suicide. Something I criticized WWE about, so I'm going to criticize Impact. We just saw this match last week, and I know you're kind of building an angle there, but I still don't need to see the same match twice. Willie Mack retains the X Division title against Johnny Swinger, who is absolutely terrible. And then Michael Elgin beat an injured Sami Callihan in the main event, so he will advance to the semifinals against Trey Miguel. So you got Elgin, Miguel, and then you've got Ace Austin and Hernandez. That's your 4 if Yule is still paying attention for your #1 Contenders Tournament. Impact, great show, man. I had a lot of fun with it this week. It's a wrestling-based show. And after watching Raw Monday, it's like there is so much fluff and BS in SmackDown and Raw that Impact is it's fun to just sit down and watch wrestling. The end. That's the Impact report. Tune in every single week for the Impact
That was only a minute
report.
That was
I'm good, man. I'm good.
That was actually you actually kept my attention. I was like, okay.
That's the goal, man.
Seconds.
I can do it.
We're not here to hurt you with New Japan and all that stuff, man.
I was like, Bob, do you have a New Japan report?
He's gonna take a minute just to spit out the name.
There is no New Japan right now.
No, so. I've heard they're about to start doing shows.
They are getting ready to start though.
Yeah. I heard New Japan was about to start back up again. So. Yep. Some of these guys that waiting on their non-compete clauses to end. Although I'm hearing that they'll still try to do the social distancing thing and limited people.
Yeah, they're actually going. They've actually been talking. I do know that Gato and those guys have been talking to the Ring of Honor guys and also AEW. There you go. Oh,
there you go, Hollywood.
Yeah.
Hey, once they're doing live show or actual shows, they're basically doing like this week. They had Dalton Castle. The whole hour was just highlights and matches of Dalton Castle. I'm not going to tell you about that.
Yeah, but once they start doing shows again, which they are starting to power up for them. I'll be talking about them a little bit. But critical hit Jamie. Yeah, I do remember when Vince dropped the N bomb.
Yes, and he's proud of that, by the way. He's been asked about. No, that's one thing. It really irritates me. When Vince has been asked that question a few times, and he goes, that's not any more shocking than what he said. You could hear that on NYPD Blue, which that's a, like I said, some of these interviews, I know Bob Costas asked him about, different things and, various interviews, but he was just like, they say this type of stuff on regular television. Why can't I say it in sports entertainment? He's like, I'm not a racist. I was just saying it for storyline value. So,
what do you think about that?
He was so flippant.
Can you do that? I mean, all right, let me ask you guys a question. I don't know, and I haven't looked into it, but the Forgotten Sons are claiming to be ex-vets, right?
Yes.
Are they? Do we know?
I think they really are.
I would hope so.
No,
especially with the Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. They would be getting hammered right now.
All right, but you don't expect Tom Cruise to be a real veteran if he's doing a movie, right?
Yeah, but that's a little different because you're seeing these guys every week.
I agree. I'm just saying that you're playing a character. You could come out in the middle of the show and say, "Hey, Crime Time ain't really gangsters, everybody."
Well,
but you can't do that with the Forgotten Sons. Then also,
it's like the Joey Ryan. The way he's worded it before is it's this weird dynamic where when a wrestler leaves the venue, there's still this character. Mm-hmm. Whereas if you saw Robert Downey Jr. walking down the street trying to be like, "Hey guys, I'm really Tony Stark," you'd be like, "What an idiot!"
But there are nuts out there that do believe that still.
No, I'm glad you said that because what was about a week ago? It was after Sammy Guevara got hit with that golf cart, and Jungle Boy had tweeted out. They were like interacting on Twitter, and I was like, they were acting like they were boys. They follow each other and all this kind of stuff. I was like, dude, the Inner Circle is beefing with Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus and Marco Stunt, and they're on Twitter and they're like, oh man, they're cutting up and everything.
It's like we talk about all the time. Like we know it's fake. We know it's a work, but don't slap us in the face. You know what I mean?
Leave
some mystery.
Spread,
Yeah, leave some mystery there.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there when they're on Twitter, like bigging each other up and doing all. I was like, wait a minute, they're forgetting that they're working. I'm like, and that's one of the things. That's why I'm wearing the Outlaw Mud Show shirt on.
That's amazing.
From Cornette's Collectibles. I had to get the Outlaw Mud Show because a lot of the, that I agree with him on that. He's like, these guys, they think they're actors and they're doing a TV show instead of protecting the business. And that's why no one takes it seriously anymore. It's like, that's why you got, Tom Segura and stuff, who's an admitted wrestling fan, but he's like, if you like wrestling, you're retarded or whatever. He said all that kind of stuff, and then you got all these wrestlers offering to fight it. That's
usually the next part.
I'll be honest,
man.
As harsh as he got with that, it took me a second for me to realize, he's having a go. This is a work,
It's like, but I don't know. People didn't seem to take it like that.
A lot of them didn't. That because I don't think they realize it.
Yeah, they didn't realize he was working.
Speaking of that, Fred Wheeler, who just died. Remember that show Boondocks? Did you ever see the episode he did where he was the teacher and he was talking about the N-word? He's like, I didn't used to say that and think like that until Riley came into my class.
Oh yeah, because that was a real incident. That actually happened, and then the Boondocks took it. There's a clip on YouTube where they take real life stories. They show the news clip of the person, where the incident happened, and then they show the clip of the Boondocks where they turned it into a bit on the cartoon. The Gangstalicious, the little boy that stole a car and likes to smoke cigarettes and all that. All that stuff was real. Yeah. And so I'm like, I just, the illusion for wrestling has been shattered, but I still like, you know what I'm saying? The whole point is when I turn my wrestling program on, I don't want to think about, although some people have been critical that the WWE is not, they won't even say the word COVID-19 or Corona. Nope. They won't say it.
They won't say the word wrestling.
Yeah, they don't like their buzzwords, like they have a list that you're not allowed to say and the things you have to hit all the time. And I'm sure COVID is not one of them.
Yeah, but I mean, you hear AEW at least goes, hey, there's a lot going on. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people do want them to at least acknowledge that there's a reason we're watching WrestleMania with no people in
Oh,
Right.
Yeah.
one of the words got rescinded though. Did you see that? They're actually using the word wrestling.
I saw something about that.
Yeah, they're actually using the word Charlie. What's her name? The
Chuck.
backstage.
Yeah.
She said this would be the greatest wrestling match of all time, and then they
What
reiterated
a
that
horrible
the next week.
tagline. What a horrible
They're saying that for
don't get me
Orton
wrong.
and Edge,
I'm like,
though.
oh, is she gonna
Is
get?
this
in
like the
trouble for that?
ban is for this match only?
Yeah, probably.
The best
Hey, we'll
wrestling match.
advertise this as
If they were
wrestling.
at their heights, Edge and Orton at the same time, it would not be the best wrestling match of all time. Period.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah.
And then this ain't going to be that.
And I'm like, okay.
Sorry.
But yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and Adam's
Not
right.
sorry.
MJF is the only guy living the gimmick outside.
Yeah, he keeps it going. He, like fans be like, "Hey, MJF, I love you," and he blocks them and does all that stuff like that. I'm afraid to tell him I'm a fan because I know he'll block me. And I was like,
The best was the one he got in trouble for, and he held kayfabe through the whole thing where he flicked the kid off at the convention.
some people don't understand that. They were like, he flipped a child.
That
off.
kid's going to love it later on.
Yes,
Like 10 years from now, that kid's going to be like, he flipped me off.
Yeah, he'll talk about it later when he gets older, but
Love it.
he was really confused. He didn't understand what was going on. He was like, my son was really confused. He did not understand why this man was flipping in the burger.
Don't take him to a wrestling show.
And I'm like, so you watch MJF on television and he's doing all kind of horrible, bad shit. And then you expect him to be like, oh yeah, so I don't know. That's the thing. He's old school. He would have fit in those old golden days, the golden era.
God, yeah.
He would have made it because he's old school. It's like when I love William Regal. When I've seen a couple shoot interviews for William Regal, and even when he does shoot interviews, he still don't like exposing the business. He don't like talking about stuff.
Killing
He
the
don't
business.
talk about his match with Goldberg and stuff. He's like, I don't like to talk about that. I'm old school.
The funny thing about all that is, though, it's like Cornette. Cornette hates all this exposing the business, and yet he does a podcast every single week where he exposes the business. He's working too, man. He's just trying to get clicks and downloads. It's all a work.
It's all a work.
It's all. We should have a show when we just decide, was it a work or not, and everything will just be a work.
Like
The answer for me is everything's a work.
Everything is a work.
Everything's a work.
I was like, I don't know.
If Antonio gets $100 on Brandway the gun, he says he'll get juicy on the next show.
I'm assuming you mean 100K because we're heading towards 22,000 right now. So I'm assuming.
Oh my God! All right, let's talk some wrestling, man.
I've got juiced gig marks right here, man.
Oh wow! Oh, so you used to do that? No blood pills?
Oh no, razor blade.
Razor
I told you
blade.
guys that I used to keep it in my wrist tape because we were talking about what was it? The referee handed somebody. I forget what it was.
The ref would hand it to him, or sometimes they would keep it in their mouth.
I don't get that. You're a psychopath.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, listen to Under the Black Hat. If you listen to Under the Black Hat from Jim Ross, I love that. It was. I mean, I went back and got Slobber Knocker on audio because, like, a lot of times when I'm packing books, I'll put those books on because they're like 10 hours. So I know if I'm sitting there for 8 or 9 hours, I'll just hit that and just let it play while I'm packing, and I'll just listen chapter for chapter. But Jim Ross talked about when Vince started trying to incorporate him more into the storylines, and they wanted him to get his ass beat by Triple H. And then he said Vince came to him and said, "Hey, we want you to get color." And Jim Ross was like, "I didn't want to do this. I'm the announcer." He had been a ref, but he had never, he's like, he hadn't really taken bumps and all this kind of stuff. He did not want to, do anything where he's having to blade. And he had seen it done. He'd been in matches. He called matches where obviously, someone had to, blade themselves. And he told Vince he could do it. He came out, I think he said one of the boys told him what to do, blah, blah, blah. Triple H talked to him before they went out there. Hey, you understand what's going to happen? Blah, blah, blah. Do you need me to help you? No, I got it. And then he tried to do it. He couldn't get it. He couldn't get it done. Triple H kicked him, and then And but I mean, he did it the right way. He said, and that's something Stone Cold said that shouldn't happen. You know, you should be very careful about letting somebody else blade you. But he did. He let Bret Hart cut him in that WrestleMania match.
Yeah.
That was a tough match.
The New Jack Dark Side of the Moon, that was one of the problems. He said that kid, what's the guy, what they call it, Transit?
Oh, dude.
What an idiot.
The guy called himself.
Oh.
He died.
Dude, he didn't blade that dude. He scalped that guy.
Yeah, and that's a mistake, and that's
that's a mistake. That's attempted murder.
D'Lo Brown, D'Lo Brown had been in Smoky Mountain Wrestling with New Jack. He was like, "That's a mistake. You never let someone else blade you." But like I said, Stone Cold trusted Bret. And Bret was like
Bret Hart, yeah, totally.
Yeah, he said, Bret. He said Bret talked to him because he was like, at that point, Stone Cold said he had never done a blade, but he had never bladed before, and he
must be open hard way.
And
that's the only way to do it.
That's
put that knuckle in there.
I'll pass on that.
If you make me bleed, I guarantee it'll be good.
I would not let any of those old school guys blade me, man, because some of those guys, man, they go hard, man.
Dude, Shawn Michaels has done some of the deepest blade cuts.
Oh,
it's like he fell into styrofoam and he comes up and he's bloody.
And that actually, and what Maldacito is saying here, that actually is what happens most of the time today. Is if you bleed, you do it the hard way.
Yeah,
dude, Lesnar, when WWE didn't allow blood, I know for a fact Lesnar posted himself more than once to get it because he knew it would add drama to the match.
He could get away with it. And
it's so weird that he's willing to do that, but not actually wrestle.
Well, look at Goldberg. Goldberg does it to him at the start of every freaking match.
Well, Stone Cold said that when Bret cut him, they were told no color. And then he lied to Vince and said that it was he took a bad hit and it cut him open. And then Vince saw the reaction. Yeah, they lied at first. He lied because Vince was like, "Hey, remember they were still trying to do that family friendly. They don't want blood."
He never liked blood though, Vince.
Yeah, so
ever. And I kind of agree with him a little bit.
Well, I think you think about some of the times like Eddie against was it Angle. Dude, how bad that was.
Ugh.
Like Vince may have like Vince, he didn't like it to begin with. He probably was like after a couple of those kind of things happened, he was like, all right, that's it, no more.
The Hart Steve Austin match though, imagine that match where he puts him in the sharpshooter and he's bleeding without blood.
Yeah.
Nowhere near as good.
It's not,
the dramatics are not there.
Yeah, I've watched that a few times. It's incredible.
It's so awesome, man. But you're right, because it builds. Like, why is this guy passing out? It's not just because of the pain. It's also the lack of blood. Right. These are two things that make this guy super freaking awesome. And you'll always remember that moment. But
it's iconic.
Becky Lynch.
If you're just sporting blood all the time, I mean, like I said, Ric Flair, he took eventually it got to the point where, he started the match bleeding. He even breaks himself open during a promo.
Look what got Becky over.
Yep.
Getting her nose busted.
Yep.
Oh yeah, totally.
That moment where she's standing at the top doing this it's iconic. It's iconic.
That turned her into the biggest women's wrestler in the world.
She's on the rocket ship,
man.
And although I'm not always the greatest John Cena fan, when he got his nose broken by Seth Rollins the way he did, that was freaking hardcore. Yeah. And that son of a bitch kept wrestling that freaking match. You got to give it to John Cena there, man. He kicked his ass.
Seth's got a reputation for, I don't know.
Well, it's everything else is okay, and then yet another thing happens, and then you start looking at all those suspiciously.
Britt Baker didn't get over with her broken leg this week, though.
Yeah, did it really break?
No, it's a knee injury. She's supposed to get it checked out today, though.
Yeah,
I think it's serious.
I can almost guarantee you she's out for a while.
Yeah, it looked
bad.
Unless she's really, really, really lucky. But I mean, there was a lot of injuries this week.
You know what's amazing? Especially after last week, we're 40 minutes in. The only thing we've talked about is Impact.
I want to say one thing about SmackDown before we.
It is good.
Drew Gulak lost to Daniel Bryan and then got fired.
His wrestling partner lost to
his wrestling partner. And I guess Drew Gulak asked for more money.
Yes.
When his contract was already up.
He asked for
and they said, forget it. We don't need you that much.
How funny is it, though? Once again, giving this guy all the TV time, putting him with Bryan, getting him over, and then now you're just going to let him go.
Yeah.
He's only with Bryan because Bryan asked for him.
Yeah.
That's they had no plans for him. He would have been Shorty G2.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is you regardless of why, you invested in him, put him on TV, and the dude, like Bryan and Gulak have been the best thing on SmackDown for weeks.
I don't disagree, but it's different between Vince going, hey, I want to push this guy, as opposed to Daniel trying to help somebody.
Yeah, I'm liking Sasha and Bailey still. And Sasha's looking
I'm waiting on it to happen, man. Matter of fact, I actually, I don't know about you guys.
That leopard outfit
SmackDown was good this week. I thought SmackDown was actually
it was decent.
I enjoyed it. Especially at the end when Otis tried to play like he was about to cash in on Braun.
I got questions about Otis, and this is something. This is actually they actually talked about this on Cornette. I disagree with Cornette. I think if they do him right, obviously he's never going to reach what Dusty was, but they could put him over as the common guy. They could do him as the common guy if they do him right. I have no confidence.
They got to stop doing comedy this second.
I think having no crowd kills him.
Yes.
Because he would be getting a good crowd reaction. There's no doubt about it.
Especially when he comes out with Mandy.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, even if there was crowds and he was getting with the crowds, this is a gimmick that is not going to last.
No.
But
my favorite thing on SmackDown was Daniel Bryan cutting the promo after the match saying he wants to make the Intercontinental title the workers' belt again. Now, whether or not that ever happens,
and then he gets a concussion.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we thought Sami Zayn was maybe going to do that, but Sami Zayn wasn't the Sami Zayn he wasn't El Generico.
No,
it's a comedy.
He's not even NXT Sami Zayn.
No.
Actually, since you mentioned Daniel Bryan, his wife is currently on a small book tour with her sister, and they're promoting this very, talked about it a couple weeks ago with, Nikki's revelations with Brad, who many believe is Dolph Ziggler. But Bree was asked some questions just a few days ago about some of the stuff that is going on this current season of Total Bellas, where it's showing that her and Daniel are having some marital problems. Now, I know, Bookie, you said this is a
work, brother.
Okay. Well, she talked about it, and obviously they already filmed these shows, and she mentioned that certain things in their lives have changed a little bit, and
she realized she actually liked money. Is that what it is?
And it sounds like they really have had some issues. Obviously, she's pregnant and about to have another baby now. But she actually said on the show that she didn't want to have another baby, and then she got pregnant. So, I mean, I'm just saying, it did sound, some of the stuff I was hearing. She was like, the storyline with her and Daniel was not supposed to be part of the show, she said, but she said the producers came to her. And noticed that they had been kind of arguing a little bit. That stuff's supposed to be cut out. And they were like, this is really good footage. We could work this into the actual show. And she didn't want their marriage put on display like that. But then I guess they persuaded her that it was okay for her. Some of the stuff that they had argued about was not supposed to actually air. It was, from what I've heard when they shoot these reality shows, the principals, the people that are getting filmed, they go, hey, I don't want that in. You know what I'm saying? They got final cut or whatever.
Yeah, but it's like I told you on Total Divas or whatever, when they made it look like Natty and TJ were just flat out gonna, like, those two fought every episode, and they did a divorce angle every episode, and then they're like the happiest married couple I know. Like they're my friends, but
Well, someone has to put up with those cats, so You know,
I'm just saying the reason I think Bree looks like it's a long day. Bree looks like it's a long. It don't matter how hot she is. She looks like it's, and her sister looks like she's a long day too.
She's really, really, really high maintenance.
That's what I'm saying. And
there's no way that relationship would ever last. Her and that dude that got her pregnant.
No,
never.
And I'm hearing they're having some.
There's no way that one.
It makes for good TV at the very least.
And
the one thing I did hear also on these interviews that she's been doing, or they've been doing, is that Daniel Bryan actually goes to like a B&B and like kind of like it just decontaminates before he goes and meets up with Bree and stuff like that.
Go back, be with your significant other.
It's kind of interesting, you know. So like, he's not just going straight home.
He is a vegan,
you know.
Well, you know, where there was the one clip that's on YouTube now where he was like, "You asked me to sign this new deal." He did. Yeah. He sounded like, and that sounded like that was for
he
real.
wanted to go to AEW too, man.
I refuse to believe that.
No,
you don't think he wanted to go AEW?
He wanted to wrestle. He didn't want to work as much, and it sounds like he could have made more money, or he could have made decent money just doing like spot shows here and there and making personal appearances.
I want that Brock Lesnar treatment.
He wants
200 days a year for Vince.
Yeah, he wants to transition to behind the scenes.
And he said that. He said that on a few, what was just a couple weeks ago. He was like, I'm getting later in my career. And he said that's why he helped Drew.
Dude, he still wants to wrestle.
He's transitioning. He's saying that I'm trying to become more. He said, I've got. Me
and you'll just don't believe it.
I believe that he is like wrestling through.
I 100.
Me too.
I 100% believe that he wants to transition into a backstage role. But I think he wants to do that kind of thing where if he wants to wrestle a match, he can. And because he's doing the behind the scenes thing, his body's not going to take the beating, and he could do that.
See, I would think more than anything he would want to. I would think he would want to coach more than be behind the scenes booking and all that crap.
No, that's what I mean. He wants to take that kind of a backstage role, but he wants to have a career like the Undertaker's, where he comes out once or twice a year, does one or two matches, and he just keeps going and going and going and going and going.
He don't want to be on the road all the time. And that's one thing. It sounds like Bree sound like she good with him being on the road, and he come back. And I was just like,
I don't know about that. I think they are hamming it up for the cameras a lot. But I do know that
she said in the interview about sometimes like they've kind of their relationship has changed, and
that's code for things ain't good.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. The show.
They're past that stage where they want to be all up under each other all the time. And so sometimes she said sometimes, like it was kind of the absence makes the heart grow fonder thing. Sometimes
like Vince and Linda.
Personal space.
They probably hate each other, man.
Shots fired.
No way. That's love all the way.
That's why I said we were talking like a while back. We were talking about who should take over the creative control of WWE. And that's why I said Daniel.
I keep hearing Shane. I thought it should be Triple H, but that's why Shane came back. Shane
it depends on which way the wind blows in Vince's brain.
Yeah, well, I think whatever if it does go to Shane, he should definitely still utilize Triple H.
Yep.
I think Triple H is the one. He's shown a remarkable mind for the business.
NXT is the only great show that they have running right now. If you ask me.
Whoever it is, whether it's Stephanie, whether it's Shane, whether it's Triple H, that all three of them are going to work together. Yeah. One's going to have more control over it, but all three of them they're going to work together on some level. So
yeah, it's better if it's Triple H and Stephanie though, because they're like one side is that corporate horrible, get out the speak out that you want everybody to adhere to, and then Triple H is the guy that can actually.
Yes, it is. Total.
I don't know because I don't watch it.
Hey, me and Antonio could just do a Total Bellas.
Antonio, you could get Jill on. If you ever want to do a side project, you could do the Total Bellas that way.
Oh God!
I am not going to partake.
It's great TV, man. It's great TV.
We've only got 10 minutes left. Was there anything on SmackDown other than Otis that was worth of crap?
No, that's it.
Yeah, like SmackDown, I'll give it a thumbs up, but it was one of the better shows they've had in the last few weeks. Let's move to Raw, and that one put me to sleep a little bit.
Look, the problem with Raw is the same thing that was wrong with SmackDown, and it's every WWE show. And I bitched about it last week. I'm going to do it again. There's too many backstage segments. There's too many backstage promos. There's too many little vignettes. There were five backstage vignettes involving the Kabuki Warriors. 5. And then if axe throwing, we're talking about axe throwing.
Yep.
We can't even just do a lame axe throwing segment. We got to check in with them 17 times throughout the show. It takes up 5 segments. It's ridiculous, man. It's absolutely. The matches are all short and meaningless. There's a women's tag title match. And
oh my god!
3 minutes. 3 minutes.
And it was the challengers got disqualified.
Yeah,
yeah. Jeez, God.
That's WWE. Hashtag WWE.
And by the way, this new version of the wild card rule is freaking stupid.
Hey. Oh.
It's all stupid. Just say, you know what? We got to open the roster up because we're short on people. Why come up with these dumb things and then sit there and explain the stupid rule 4 times a year? We could do. Oh, shut up! You know you're gonna. Charlotte's gonna be on there like 8 times in the next 3 months.
They're short on people and they're having 3-minute matches.
I stopped on after the Iconics match. Basically, I was like, I'm out. I gotta go to bed.
Are we happy the Iconics are back?
I'm glad they're back.
It's not that I like them or I'm upset.
They're so rusty. They haven't done anything in like a year.
Yeah, but we've all accepted the fact that they really are stinky in the ring.
The funny thing about that match is Peyton Royce got DQ'd for doing way less than they do in 95% of their matches. It's like, oh, she punched her a few too many times in the corner, so she's DQ'd. It's like, come on.
Well, it's just like that stupid rule from last week where, Seth is disqualified because he touched Ray. And I was like, they do that all the time.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, now is when you're choosing to pay attention to rules.
Right.
Really? Now?
It's
like when AEW, if they ever say you've been in the ring too long, I'm going to disqualify you. I'll be like, what?
Are they doing that because of AEW, though? Because AEW does basically have no rules? Is that why they're all
rules?
No, it's just Vince, man. It's just Vince.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was the 5-second thing for the Iconics, but
how many times have you seen it in a WWE match? 1, 2, 3. You got to get out of the corner. You got to get out of the corner. 1, 2. You got to get out of the corner. You got to get. How many times do you see that? And now it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. Ring the bell. It's over.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
One time.
Apparently, Natalia is turning heel again, or something, or I don't know.
Okay, a cat now.
Get me started on this one too. While I'm just going to rip Raw apart, right? So Natty throws her fit while the crew is out there setting up the Kevin Owens show because we always stay on the program while they set up the Kevin Owens show.
Yeah,
we do that every time. Stupid. It's so stupid. Oh
and
my God.
Why are we in a show where we've got 3 and 4 minute matches? Why are you not putting Kevin Owens in a freaking match instead of we're gonna have him do another another freaking Alexa Bliss freaking moment. The moment of Bliss. I didn't even know the name of the damn thing. I hate it so much.
Hey man, they get it. Of course it turned into a match because it's WWE, but the match lasted about 2 minutes.
But I'm saying just have the match.
Yeah, no, we can't book matches here.
Speaking of Alexa Bliss, she called out Ronda Rousey.
Who hasn't at this point?
Yikes.
Let me know how that ends.
It was real.
And apparently,
it was real. Yeah, it was like,
I'm done yelling about Raw.
Apparently, I can't remember their names right now because they've been off the air for so long. The tag team that was with Rollins.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah,
Buddy Murphy.
Huh?
What are you talking? Are you talking about Buddy Murphy?
No, I'm talking about the tag team that was with them. That just disappeared.
Oh, AOP. Yeah,
AOP.
I told you that would happen. I told you they'd be irrelevant.
Apparently, AOP they just disappeared, and now
they're not traveling or something. Maybe they're not traveling.
Oh, jeez, God.
All right, let me ask you a question. For a go-home show, was that AEW kind of lackluster?
It was, but then again, I think it's because of the COVID thing.
That's not an excuse anymore.
That's a bit of. I think a bit of it is that.
Those matches sucked.
Yeah,
they weren't great, man.
My favorite thing that happened that night was Hangman Page coming out and doing a route.
You could see him way off. I was like, Why is that idiot on screen? Do they not realize they're filming right now? And they're like, oh, it's Adam Page.
It was the best thing ever.
I thought the end of the show was good for the go home show.
Sure.
Overall, I agree with you. It was pretty stale.
And I also think that for a go home show as middling as it was, to have that many injuries, and that's going to put so much of your card in jeopardy. God, dude!
They had 3 injuries that show.
They had 3. Like well, what's his name?
Phoenix died.
Phoenix.
Oh, that's right.
Apparently, he's okay though. Apparently,
he's clear to go.
He's lucky. He got. And plus, he's Ray Phoenix, dude. That guy wrestled with a broken neck if he wanted to.
I like that. I like that too. At the end of I like the Orange Cassidy Ray Phoenix match. Yeah. They did have a little botch early, but overall, I love the match, and I love the chaos after the match. Like, I'm excited about that ladder match. It is gonna be a barn burner. It's gonna be fun.
Frank and Hollywood, I do think that the ninth guy is gonna be a WWE talent.
Who?
I think it's gonna either be EC3 or dude. I think it's either gonna be EC3 or it's gonna be Ryder.
It can't be Ryder because he's on a night that could not compete.
Give me some Rusev, baby.
Now you're talking.
Yeah,
Rusev would be
if Rusev came and ate everybody, that'd be great.
But the thing is, the reason why I was saying EC3 is because he's been doing a lot of video things, and there's been a lot of hits from the AEW guys.
I think that's a terrible signing. I can't stand
He's a great character,
Ryder,
terrible wrestler.
Yeah,
he's a terrible wrestler, but when you're really they probably wouldn't have to pay him so much. Also,
the problem with Brody Lee. Just to answer Brian Caraway's question here, the problem with Brody Lee right now is it's because they're in a diminished roster. He needs
the problem is his promos suck.
Yes,
that's a big problem too.
Oh, they're not that bad.
They were terrible. Bad. This week was bad.
I said get on a knee properly or whatever.
Yeah,
they started off good and now it's just not.
Because he wasn't talking that much. He was just he'd come out and whoop your ass right quick and then say something,
But they were doing the stuff at the table, but how much better would it have been if they just brought him in and he didn't talk? He just led the Dark Order and didn't say a word. Just dark, creepy.
He needs to be that guy who does talk.
The Dark Order has always been a problem, though.
Really dark.
Sorry, Bob. What?
He needs to be that guy that when he does talk, it's really dark.
It's too late now. It's too late
now. Yeah. But MJF versus Marco Stunt was pointless. MJF is awesome.
Oh, Marco Stunt was another guy that got hurt.
I saw.
Yeah. I was just listening to it earlier.
Yeah, I think
people talking about
he's going to be okay though. They think he just got bumped up a little bit.
Oh, it was a broken nose or something like that.
I thought the Jake Roberts Arn Anderson face to face was good. Went too long.
Went too long.
If it hadn't been so long, I think it would have been better. I loved when Jake said, "People have dreams and people have nightmares, but those aren't real." And Lance Archer is. What a line! What a line! But it went too long.
Arn took me out of it when Arn took me out of it when he mentioned the DDP yoga.
Yeah, well, there was
trying to be cute, and it should have been more serious.
Have you guys ever dreamed of an Arn Anderson Jake the Snake feud?
No, not in their prime.
I didn't even in their prime.
Oh, come on! I'm thinking of all the things I could do. If I could put this wrestler with this person,
not those
Jake the Snake and Arn Anderson never touched.
Arn was incredible when him and Tully together, they were. I would love.
There you go. But
yeah,
the Brainbusters versus another team, or something.
Right.
Like that.
Where the hell is Tully? Is Tully back?
I think he's
probably at risk, bro.
Yeah.
Aren't we all?
He's older. He's the oldest of all those guys, by the way.
That's true. JR's there.
But the women's match was good until what happened.
Until Britt Baker broke her leg.
I didn't think it was good.
Until they used Nyla Rose as a battering ram.
I thought the whole thing was terrible. Statlander whiffs on the Insecurity. Britt Baker sells it anyway, going into the hot tag.
Statlander, at least about a month and a half, 2 months ago, I was bigging her up, and I'm sitting there going, man.
They're putting her with the wrong people, dude. I'm telling you.
You
were right originally. She's good, dude. She's good.
If you could have one, like, I really think that the women's division needs a glue wrestler, like someone that can work any type of match.
Sheeta. Sheeta can work anybody.
Sheeta's the one. Well, I was going to also be a major character also.
She can't carry Nyla and Britt. Okay, and Britt is getting better, but like I said, in those matches when things speed up, she loses her place.
Yeah, look, Britt went up and Chris Statlander went down.
Brian Caraway, you got to put your blame in the right spot. You don't say Statlander's. Look who she's working. We say it every women's AEW match. There's always 4 people in it, right? There's almost always, or if it's a singles match, it's always good versus bad. You can't say Statlander's sloppy when she's in there with Nyla Rose and Britt Baker. They're not any good.
If AEW had a Sasha or a Blanchard,
I really think division, I'm more and more thinking about Bayley as like being a really great wrestler for that kind of company. Yeah. She plays face and heel now. I mean, she's actually shown an aptitude to do that now. And she can actually wrestle. I mean, WWE would never let her go,
What's the girl? Shanna? Is that how you say it? She's really good.
I like Shanna. Yeah.
She's not been on there in forever.
You could take any one.
I want to be Swole.
Oh, my God.
Swole.
You could take anyone.
No.
You could take anyone.
She's been in the crowd, I think.
Yeah, she's been in the crowd.
Okay.
And you could take any one of the 4 major female wrestlers in WWE, or one of the 4 major wrestlers in NXT. Any one of them, and they could be the linchpin person in AEW's women's division. Because I think as good as she is, I don't think that Sheeta can carry that whole division by herself. She needs someone else there with her.
Statlander, but you still need more than 2.
But you
need about 6.
Yeah, you got to get that.
Well, just like WWE, you need that 4 or 5 people who can linchpin your friggin' division.
The problem is the problem is this right here. Is AEW going to book the best talent, or are they going to go broke and continue to push Nyla Rose and Adam Cole's girlfriend? That's a major factor in Britt.
They haven't played up. If it's going woke, they haven't played it up enough for it to work. Honestly,
the way that they've been doing things the last couple of weeks, I think Sheeta is taking that belt off of Nyla.
I don't see it. I
think
do not see it.
So maybe we should run down the match for this Saturday. So
that's why I was like, I want to do that. I want to close that out because I think we've pretty much hit everything on at least anything.
One more injury. One of the Bucks has got a broken rib.
Yeah.
That is not good.
Matt.
Yeah, Matt. Well, they think it might be broken. They're not 100% sure. He's another one they're going to check out.
That's not good.
Yeah.
Jill.
So, do you want me to run down the matches for you guys?
I got them right here.
Oh, okay, very good.
We got the AEW World Championship, Moxley versus Brody Lee. Moxley's not losing that belt.
Moxley all the way.
They'll have a good match. I think they'll have a good match. I just don't. I just don't really care about it.
Yeah, I honestly, if I'm being completely 100% honest, I don't like how they handled Brody Lee coming in so far.
It started off good, then it just keeps getting worse and worse.
Here's the one that's going to be the match for me. TNT Championship, Cody versus Archer.
I am looking forward to that.
Yeah. So who's winning?
I want it to be Archer, but I think it's going to be Cody.
It's Cody.
I think it's going to be Cody. Yeah.
I loved Arn putting over how bad and why Cody needs to win that belt.
Yeah,
I think Cody takes it.
Can I ask you a question? Do we see like a DDT like as a finishing move or anything like that?
I think we see one from Archer as a nod to Jake, but it's not going to be a finisher.
If it's not a finisher, don't do it. Do not do it.
Don't even do it at all.
I would.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Archer. I think I'd rather see a heel.
I want it to be Archer, but I think it's going to be Cody.
I think I'm going to be happy no matter who wins that match. I think it's been built so perfectly that you can go either way and it's going to be good.
I don't want Cody to bury himself trying to prove he's not his dad.
I agree with you on that. I think he needs, and I agree with the promo that Arn did, even though I know it's a work. He needs this belt.
Yeah.
Cody needs this belt, I think. But like you said, I'm not going to be sad either way.
No, I think this is the further spiral. This is Cody spiraling into despair. Maybe.
AEW Women's Championship, Nyla Rose versus Hikaru Shida. I think Shida takes it.
No, they're gonna keep Nyla because they need their woke points. They can't take the belt off a man.
I hate to say Nyla, but it's gonna be Nyla.
She doesn't work, especially right now, especially the way things are right now. She just doesn't work, and I think they know that, and I think that just me personally, the way that they've built the story the last couple of weeks, I think Sheeta takes it.
Okay.
But Matt Hardy and the Elite versus the Inner Circle. I think the Elite takes this one. Finally.
I think the Inner Circle, and they continue the feud leading up to War Games.
See, now I'm going Elite because that plays off the Cody losing, so at least the other aspect of Cody still wins. So I'm going Elite on that one.
Okay.
That's the only reason. I'm just kind of like how I would put it together, maybe.
What do you think, Antonio?
Will it be good?
It'll be all right. I'm looking forward to the pay-per-view.
I think it's gonna be like most of those big those 5-man tag matches they do. It's gonna be all over the place. Casino ladder match: Darby Allin versus Colt Cabana, Orange Cassidy, Ray Phoenix, Scorpio Sky, Kip Sabian, Frankie Kazarian, Luchasaurus, and the mystery competitor. I think the mystery competitor is going to win it.
I have no idea because they get a heavyweight title shot at Mox, or is it
a TNT title?
Oh, that depends on who wins that belt.
No, it is a world championship. No, it is.
It's the world championship.
Yeah, I thought it was a TNT, but it's the world championship.
Yeah, I don't know because I would say Scorpio Sky is a guy that could do that, but they've already done that with him and Jericho. I don't know, man. I have no idea.
Pineapple Pete.
Whoa,
mystery man, the last guy.
I could see Darby Allin winning that. I could see Darby Allin winning that, and then them wanting to push him in a match against Mox.
And,
I'm not buying that one right now.
But MJF versus Jungle Boy. I think this is the time. Jungle Boy needs a win here. I think he does.
Jungle Boy.
MJF is undefeated though.
MJF is at the point though that he can lose and it's not going to hurt him.
Yeah, it won't. He would be doing the favors, but I don't know.
MJF wins. Jungle Boy goes back to wrestling and tag team. Who cares?
Yeah, I agree.
You're right. I'm gonna switch. You're right. MJF. That would be the way to go. Even though he can take a loss.
Yeah.
It isn't. It's just like if you're a tag wrestler, you don't beat a singles person all the time, or even any time, really.
Yeah. Britt Baker versus Statlander. We'll see if that even happens.
I would imagine somebody will step in and replace Britt Baker if I was guessing.
Dustin versus Sean Spears.
What a
Sean Spears ending that legacy.
What a terrible segment he had.
Yeah.
Oh, that news broadcast.
That's WWE stuff. That's WWE stuff.
Dude.
I
they
think
don't know what to do with him.
Yeah, I think Dustin. I think Dustin's pretty much done. I think he's going to be in the back, in the back from now on
as an agent. Yeah.
Yeah. Private Party versus Best Friends at the buy-in. I don't know, but
Best Friends all the way.
It's going to be the Best Friends.
Assuming that they eventually have matches in front of real people.
Then again, the Best Friends lose almost all the time.
No, they don't. How are they ranked number 2, dude?
They lose a lot, dude. They lose. It's because it doesn't matter.
Don't say that. This whole freaking AEW company matches matter.
I don't know. I think the Best Friends are going to win just because Private Party has been like an afterthought ever since the tag tournament.
Surprise appearance from SCU.
SCU.
I'm expecting the whatever they're going to be called.
Oh, FTR.
I would love for them to come out and just lay.
Oh, the revival.
But
the real Revolt put out a shirt this week that said all flips, F fists.
Here's the thing, though. Are they going to waste those guys on a pre-show thing, though? Because I think I could see them coming in and helping the Inner Circle win, or coming in and helping Archer beat Cody.
That's the thing. It's like when y'all were talking about, thinking maybe Zack Ryder might be the one. He's definitely preparing for something. If you've been following his social media and stuff, he said, "I've got new theme, interest music, all that." He's clearly got. He's working on he's Matt Cardona now. He's going by his regular name, so he's definitely getting ready to appear somewhere. But a fan asked him, when will we see him back in the ring? He said less than 60 days. So
yeah, I don't know. Does he have a non-compete clause? Because I think if you get fired, if you get fired, you don't have one. Because that's what happened to the Revival. They got fired and they didn't have one. They could just do whatever they want.
They had asked for their release and then, that kind of thing. So I don't know if Zach, because they said Drew Gulak doesn't have a non-compete.
No, he doesn't have one either. Yeah.
Well, he wasn't even working with the contract, I think.
Yeah,
so.
he wrestled a match with no contract because he thought that they were gonna.
Drew Gulak's good, but he's only good. He's like NWA Power good, I think.
He'll be back in CZW in no time.
I didn't know that's where he was, but
so
I only just realized that Oni Lorcan was Biff Busick. Is that who it is?
Oh yeah, dude.
I had no idea because I've always remember like seeing the name Biff Busick on like ROH and stuff like that.
Dude, he was big in PWG too, and Danny Burch.
Yeah,
Danny Burch used to wrestle as Martin Stone. I love those guys, man. They're great. They're old school.
You want to know who I miss? I miss Evil Uno. I miss the Butcher and the Blade.
One of them was in the crowd.
Yeah,
Butcher and the
he does have a 90 day.
You don't forgot. It's like even in the Matrix, you don't forgot these guys existed.
It's true. I mean, I did. Well,
he didn't when they debuted either.
COVID's tough, man. That's
the thing.
It's hurt a lot of our brains,
It's gonna be kind of crazy because when everything gets back to normal, it's like everybody's gonna be like, "Oh wow, what happened there?" You'll have to start because you've lost all the momentum of trying to build, and they weren't having that much success of getting them over anyway. So now you'll have to start from scratch because they've been off television so long. It's like they're going to get repackaged or whatever. But if
the
anyone,
bunny you miss,
if you want to watch AEW Double or Nothing, the four of us are going to be over on the S&B network. We're going to be there with Boogie. Boogie's hosting, and we're very excited. You guys that hung out with us when we did the Money in the Bank on my channel, that was fun hanging out with everybody, and got to actually stream with Jill and Hollywood. That was a fun stream, and we got introduced to Token Matt Hardy.
Hey, I noticed that the pre-show doesn't start till 7:30. Do you still just want to start at 7 though? We just kind of talk about the show and BS until
you come in whenever you want. Yeah.
The three of you can. I'll be here at 7.
I want you to be there for the end of the show, not the beginning.
Well, I kind of have to
get all your crap done.
I kind of have to be there for all of it. That's why I can do AEW because it's Saturday.
Well, yeah. Good.
Yeah, so check out definitely. Matter of fact, subscribe to the S&B network. Check out my favorite channels list on the YouTube channel. It's right there. You'll see it. Obviously, he is in the chat right now, so you can click on that link and just hit that subscribe button and come join us Saturday night. We're gonna have some fun. We'll stream with the fellas there. And is there anything else you guys want to get in before I hit this button and we close this bad boy out?
I think that was pretty good.
That was a fun one.
Next week on NXT,
yes,
there's going to be a cage match between Riddle and Thatcher. There you go.
All right, brother. All right.
He's so excited.
Yeah. I like Riddle, but he's not
a boyfriend.
It's just, I love when Goldberg confronted him and he was like, "Hey, brother." All right.
He would eat Bill Goldberg alive.
I was such a mark for Goldberg, and I used to think he would really be able to. Man, it's like hearing that Jericho like whooped him and all this.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that though, Jericho.
Before we go,
real wrestling.
I do have one announcement. Baron Corbin from today on will now be called Possum.
Oh, Jim
Possum in pockets. The team's gonna happen, man.
Possum in pockets. All right. I'll bring the darkness. Well, all right. Well, guys, please come again. Join us on the SMB Network on Saturday, and then on Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will also be on the SMB Network. So he's doing double duty, boogie double duty. Yeah, there you go, man. But we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna be doing we're gonna be doing a lot more of these kind of shows. We want to hang out with you guys. As that's the thing. We want to grow this podcast. Obviously check it out on like iTunes and Spotify and whatever streaming services you happen to pull this thing off of. We love seeing, it's so good to see so many of the same. We've got regular people that come here every week. We appreciate you guys more than you know. Thank you so much, for hanging out with us each and every. Thank you for inviting us into your home, folks.
We gotta go. We're out of time.
I know. But until next time, this Saturday, money, yeah, that money, yeah, that money, yeah.